Welcome to the Sierra Enterprises LLC team. We do business as both B&R Paving and Sierra Striping. We have created this orientation video, although not all-inclusive, to help you better understand our company, policies, procedures, benefits, and safety guidelines. B&R Paving Company was established in 2001 by father and son, Mickey and Romney Russell. In 2008, Jason Yates purchased the company as B&R Paving. In 2010, Sierra Striping, owned by Lance Clausen, merged with B&R Paving to create Sierra Enterprises. Jason Yates and Lance Clausen are the principals of Sierra Enterprises and will be your point of contact for any questions or information you might need. As a new hire, you should have been given the following: application, which will include your personal information such as your address, Social Security number and phone number, work history, and education history. I-9 form, to verify an employee's eligibility to work in the United States. W-4 form, to indicate the employee's federal withholding elections. Arizona withholding form, to indicate the employee's Arizona withholding election. Direct deposit form. All employees receive their pay by direct deposit at no additional cost to the employee. A copy of a voided check or a direct deposit form from the employee's banking institution must be included. Employee benefits summary, which outlines the vacation, sick time, holiday, health, and dental benefits provided by Sierra Enterprises. Please read through and sign the last page, acknowledging receipt and review of the summary. Safety program. This will be discussed in some detail later. Please read through the provided safety program handout for complete details and sign the last acknowledgement page once completed. Video acknowledgement page and checklist, which you will sign once you have completed the orientation video. Please notify Lance or Jason should you be missing any of these documents and return all paperwork to either of them once completed. Let's go over some of Sierra Enterprises' company policies. Lance Clausen and/or Jason Yates will text employees with their work schedule for the next day each afternoon or evening. Chronotech Time Clock is an employee online time card software. Employees use their cell phone to clock in and out. The employee simply dials the Chronotech toll-free number and enters their access code to capture their clock in time. This process is repeated at clockout time. Sierra Enterprises will provide the employee with a hard hat, safety Class II vest, and a long-sleeve shirt. The employee is expected to have pants without holes, no shorts, safety glasses, gloves, and steel toe or composite boots. Sierra Enterprises' work week begins on Wednesday and ends the following Tuesday. Payroll is provided weekly on Wednesdays and paid on Fridays by direct deposit. A copy of your pay stub will be made available as well. If an employee is unable to work due to illness or a family emergency, they are expected to call the night before their scheduled hours. Employees may also submit a time-off request 6 weeks prior, which we'll discuss in more detail in a moment. If an employee does not show up for work and has not contacted either Jason nor Lance, it is assumed the employee has abandoned their job and quit. A time-off request must be completed and submitted a minimum of 6 weeks prior to the requested time off to be guaranteed. A principal must approve and sign the request for it to be valid. A form can be found at the yard or by contacting Lance Clausen. A time-off request for eligible sick pay must also be completed and submitted prior to the end of the payroll week in order to receive pay on that week's check. Sierra Enterprises does not have a scheduled lunchtime due to the nature of our work. Employees are encouraged to bring a lunch and eat when there is time and a lull in the work being performed. The first person to arrive unlocks the front gate. The last to leave secures all containers and the front gate. The back gate is to remain locked at all times, except when a principal has given specific approval. Vehicles and equipment are specifically assigned. All traffic laws must be obeyed, especially following the posted speed limit and wearing your seatbelt at all times. Each vehicle and piece of equipment has a maintenance sheet that must be kept up to date. When logging fuel, set the meter at 0. Pump gas or diesel and send a picture of the meter to Jason Yates at 520-762-0822 Equipment, gas cans, and vehicles need to be metered and texted separately. Ability to perform our work is only as good as the maintenance of tools provided to do that work. Each employee is assigned specific responsibilities to that end. Neglect or abuse of equipment may result in termination of employment. Red tag any equipment that is deemed unsafe or will harm the equipment if operated. Report any minor or major equipment maintenance issues to any of the following parties via text: Jason Yates at 520-762-0822, Lance Clausen at 520-508-4293, Jesus Molina at 520-236-2245, and Luis Garcia at 520-678-5462. Employees receive a review of their performance around the anniversary of their start date. These reviews are used to acknowledge employees' excellent work practices and give them guidance on improving areas where they are not performing to expected standards. Employees may be eligible for a raise at the time of review, depending on the employee's performance, or the employee may be eligible for a raise after work deficiencies have been addressed and there is noticeable improvement by the employee. Raises may also be affected by probability and by economic circumstances beyond Sierra Enterprises' control at the time of the review. Specific bonus program will be reviewed with the principal. Bonuses are not paid for average performance. Bonuses are paid for exceptional performance. An employee may obtain access to Fort Huachuca prior to being hired by Sierra Enterprises, LLC. We do a considerable amount of work on Fort Huachuca and Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. An employee must also maintain the ability to access both facilities during their time of employment. Smoking is not allowed next to non-smokers, in company vehicles, closed cab equipment, nor places of worship that we service. We are a God-fearing company. We believe foul language does not create a positive work environment, is unprofessional, and hurts the company image. Sierra Enterprises won't tolerate sexual harassment in our workplace in any shape or form. Our culture is based on mutual respect and collaboration. Sexual harassment is a serious violation of those principles. Sierra Enterprises prohibits discrimination in employment-related decisions, or in business dealings on the basis of an individual's race, color, ancestry, age, sex, sexual orientation, religion, disability, ethnicity, national origin, veteran status, marital status, pregnancy, or any other status protected by law or local policy. It is the policy of Sierra Enterprises, LLC, that every employee is entitled to a safe and healthful place in which to work. To this end, every reasonable effort will be made in the interest of accident prevention, fire prevention, and health preservation. It is our desire to 1. Provide a safe workplace, safe equipment, and proper materials. 2. Keep SDS sheets available in the work trucks and yard at all times. 3. Establish and insist upon safe methods and practices at all times. New hires shall be issued a copy of this safety program. In addition, they will be verbally instructed in safety and accident prevention procedures and will not be permitted to operate any equipment or perform any task without proper training. Each employee must assume the responsibility of learning and using all applicable safety provisions. As with everyone else involved with this program, employees are responsible for the correction of unsafe conditions and/or work habits of other employees as soon as they are observed, or prompt notification of those situations beyond personal control to the proper authority. All employees are encouraged at all times to provide suggestions which they believe will be beneficial to the safety and health of all stakeholders. Since Sierra Enterprises is constantly striving to provide a safer, healthier, and overall better workplace, full cooperation will be expected from foremen, supervisors, and employees at all levels. The following are some general guidelines that should be observed in all phases of our operations. 1. Plan to work to minimize risk. 2. Notify the appropriate person of any unsafe conditions and/or practices. 3. Correct unsafe conditions and/or practices promptly. 4. Educate new employees in the correct and safe manner of performing the assigned work with the right tools, gloves, etc. 5. Maintain familiarity with health and safety regulations and other application standards. If you have any questions, please ask. 6. If a work construction site has an accident hazard analysis and/or its own safety program, we must comply. Adequate first aid supplies shall be maintained at the yard and on all vehicles. The first aid supplies shall be stored in a properly identified and easily accessible kit or box. Fire extinguishers are kept on all vehicles and equipment in case of a fire emergency. Report out-of-date or discharged fire extinguishers to Safety Manager. Special protective equipment shall be provided for employees based on the preliminary analysis and/or conditions, which may arise during the course of the project. However, the following is the minimum required on all jobs. Number 1. Reflective Safety Class II vest. 2. Hard hats shall be issued and worn by all employees exposed to overhead hazards or as required site-specifically. 3. Eye protection shall be worn by all employees who will be performing any operation where they are exposed to eye hazards. 4. Work boots made of hard leather and steel or composite toe shall be worn at all times on the job site. 5. Work gloves shall be worn by all employees who will be working with hot tar, hot asphalt, welding, and/or sharp edge material. Power tools and power actuated tools. 1. All power, rotary, or chain-driven tools shall have the proper guards in place at all times during use. 2. Power and power-actuated tools shall be used, operated, repaired, and serviced only by authorized and qualified personnel. 3. All extension cords shall have grounded plugs. 4. All power and power-actuated tools should be inspected regularly and maintained in good condition. Approximately 80% of all employees' injuries are due to common unsafe work practices, a partial list of which follows. 1. Drug alcohol use. 2. Non-use of required personal protective equipment. 3. Improper material handling procedures. 4. Running. 5. Disregard of proper operating procedures of machinery. 6. Disregard of company safety rules. 7. Removal of machine guards. When any unsafe work practices are observed, the foreman or owner will immediately attempt to correct the problem. The individual working in an unsafe manner will be advised of the possible consequences of their act. Correct procedures will be discussed and reviewed. However, any use of drugs or alcohol, either prescription or recreational, on the job that may affect your job performance or a safe work environment is strictly prohibited and will result in the employee's termination. Report any injury immediately by text to Jason Yates at 520-762-0822 and Lance Clausen at 520-508-4293. Seek immediate medical attention. What to do in case of an emergency. Contact authorities as needed, and then contact both Jason Yates at 520-762-0822 and Lance Clausen at 520-508-4293. Thank you for completing this orientation video. We hope you have found it informative and helpful, and sincerely hope you find your time with Sierra Enterprises fulfilling both personally and in your career. Welcome to the team.